Hey guys, Sublord here, back with another action figure review, and today we'll be concluding our looks at the Transformers Dark of the Moon Dreads. Notice I didn't just say Studio Series. With the Studio Series Deluxe class Hatchet, who just came out this past year. I think I got hit with the processing notification from the fine folks over at Big and Bad Toy Store for this guy around March or April, somewhere around there. Right around the same time as the reissue of Leader Class Shockwave, which, no, I don't think I'm quite ready to review that monster yet, although he is freaking sweet. But this, of course, brought to us by fine folks over at Hasbro, along with his buddies. We got Crowbar here, and Berserker, aka Crankcase, who we've already looked at on the channel. So if you want to see what I think of the other Dreads, please check those reviews out on your own time, of course. There you go. Pan up so you can see their noggins. But I think this is a cool group of dudes. I always like these characters. That's why I chose to review them. Now that we're 3 in, we are done. Unlike Devastator, who was a challenge and a half, these guys, not so much. So, getting these two out of here. We can pan the camera back down. And look at Hatchet's only accessory, his tail, which just kind of sort of wedges in his butt back here. Like, there's not really a good spot for it. Just kind of, there's like a gap here, and you just kind of form, you just kind of stick it in there. Literally stick it up his bum. Like that. And then collapse his buttocks over it. It's not the best thing ever. We'll just say that. He does look a little funky, but I guess it gets the job done. But for those of you who are scratching your head at this guy, he is essentially the dog of the group. Now, I'm not sure if it's like a Bronx from Gargoyles situation where he's actually a dog, or if it's that one character from the Disney movie Dinosaur situation, and he's just kind of slow. But at any rate, as far as his articulation goes, he's got a hinged jaw, which is pretty sick. Raw. His head will swivel. It doesn't look side to side, though. That kind of sucks. He does have his little dreadlocks here. Those are on hinge joints, so if you care about that, there you go. His shoulders will move forward and back. He does not have hinges to bring him out to the side, though, which seems kind of weird. They seem kind of tight compared to his head, but that's the way it is. He does have the single elbow, as well as rotation. He's got the hinge in the hand, which, again, like the other Dreads, he's not exactly the same as the other two. And the other two aren't even the same. He's got, like, different torso. He's got different arms. I think he probably has the Berserker forearms, but don't quote me on that. Actually, no, he doesn't. He doesn't have the Berserker forearms. He's got his own forearms and hands. His shoulders might be crowbars. But other than that, you know, his upper legs are the same, probably. But his lower legs are a little different. Because he does have, like, the in and out at the hip, forward and back, single jointed knee. But then he's got, like, similar claws to Berserker, but no toe claw. In fact, I think Berserker has 3 toes. This guy's only got, like, 2. So, very cool that they mixed it up. I really appreciate that. It's not just the same dude 3 times. Like, you don't know how many times they, like, louse that up and just give us the same dude over and over. They did it with Crankcase in particular. They just repainted Crowbar into Crankcase, and we all know that it should have been Berserker's head on that figure at the very least, and not Crowbar's. So very odd choices with these characters, but I'm glad we got all three. Even if one's from a super old toy line at this point and needs a reissue. Berserker, looking at you, buddy. But yeah, I like this figure a lot. I think he's cool. Is he my top figures of the year? Maybe at the moment. I think he's cool. I think he's pretty sick. He's also a doggy, so, you know, kind of biased. Although he's a bad boy for what him and his buddies did to my boys Ironhide and Sideswipe. That was some BS, bro. But, before we wrap this up, let's bring in our two regulars. We got the Mythic Legion's brother Mandibilith here. Of course, these two are going to be bigger than he is, because he's a freaking dog. We got the infamous 11 Spawn, who, as usual, towers over everyone, as I suspected. So, with that being said, it's time now that we wrap things up with some final thoughts. Overall, and while I do still believe that the Deluxe Class Crowbar wins Best Dread from a subjective standpoint, if you ask me, I think Hatchet wins from an objective standpoint. I just love this little guy. He's a dog, but he's a giant monster gargoyle dog. And, you know, maybe it's because he gives me Bronx from Gargoyles vibes. I don't know, but it's different. It's not just a robot on two legs. Granted, those legs are digitigrate because, well, Bayformer Decepticons be like that. But it's different. It's not the same as the other two. And while I do understand that in the movie Hatchet was pretty big in comparison to the other two and probably should have been a Voyager class, scaling with Transformers, or really any action figure line since the dawn of time, scale has never been 100%, people. It just hasn't. I knew Hasbro were going to reuse the Dread mold to make this guy, and what they were able to do with it, I am thoroughly impressed with, and am willing to admit that this guy might be one of my top figures of the year right now. I love this little guy, as I mentioned before. However, this review is not yet over because we still need to take a look at his vehicle mode. And as promised, here we have good old Hatchet in his Chevy Suburban alt mode, much like Crowbar and Berserker, or Crankcase, whichever you prefer, before him. Yep, same thing. Same exact thing. Although unlike Berserker, I can actually roll this one comfortably. And you can tell it's Hatchet because his tail is stuffed in there. His dreads actually tab into the side of it, so it's nice to have some weapon storage. I neglected to mention there isn't really weapon storage for the little spiked club weapons for Crowbar and Berserker. But you probably figured that out due to the lack of any real estate on the underside of the vehicle mode. However, speaking of which, here we have the Deluxe Class Berserker, or Hatchet, and Crowbar, ready to cruise the streets and start some trouble and kill two of my favorite Autobots, you sons of bitches. Yeah, Sideswipe and Ironhide. They're like my favorite Autobots, and these three mother truckers killed them. Great. So there's that, I guess. Seriously, everyone died in Dark of the Moon. Like, I think the only Autobot from like the first movie, outside of Bumblebee and Optimus, that made it was freaking Ratchet. And then they killed him off in the beginning of, was it Age of Extinction? I think it was Age of Extinction. They, like, captured him and pretty much killed his ass, so. Yeah, kind of depressing. Not as depressing as the 86 movie, I guess, where they literally killed everybody in one movie, but, you know, pretty close. Getting these two out of here. But, yeah, man, I would say of the three, Crowbar's probably the best one, but I think Hatchet's a close second. I don't think he's as bad as people are making him out to be. I like him. Granted, he kind of looks like a gargoyle, so maybe I'm biased. But at any rate, that's going to wrap up my looks at the Deluxe Class Hatchet. So with that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed this review. And until next time, I'll catch you guys later.